Okay, good evening and welcome to the organizational meeting of the Marlington Local School District Board of Education, Thursday, January 11th. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reading of the mission statement. In collaboration with staff, community, parents, and students, the Marlington Local School District will develop lifelong learners who understand and apply knowledge and demonstrate excellence in pursuing the highest standards with effective intervention to challenge every student. Oaths of office. Mr. Hagan will be first. Right there. Just do it right in front.
Why don't you do it right over here in front of that? Yep. I have it printed out here too. Yeah. Oh, here.
The Bible? Yeah.
Can read that.
She can hold the Bible for you.
No, I have to repeat.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
I can open up.
not a problem.
Where'd it go?
Please repeat after me. I, Josh Hagan,
I, Josh Hagan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties as a Board of Education member for the Marlington Local School District.
all right, let me repeat some of that.
Yes,
I
go ahead.
can remember it.
Okay.
I will faithfully discharge, hold on a second. I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties as a Board of Education member of the Marlington Local School District,
Stark County, Ohio,
Stark County, Ohio,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance
and in accordance
with the laws now in effect
with the laws now in effect
and hereafter to be enacted
and hereafter to be enacted
during my continuance in said office
during my continuance in said office
and until my successor is chosen and qualified.
and until my successor is chosen and qualified.
Congratulations.
And for Mr. Swift.
If you would please stand here and raise your right hand. No, I'm sorry. You put your hand on the Bible. There you go.
Which hand on the Bible?
That's fine. Okay, Jonathan Swift, please read after, or state after me. I, Jonathan Swift,
I, Jonathan Swift,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge my duties as a Board of Education member
discharge my duties as a Board of Education member
for the Marlington Local School District,
for the Marlington Local School District,
Stark County, Ohio,
Stark County, Ohio,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws now in effect,
and in accordance with the law now in effect,
and hereafter to be enacted
and hereafter to be enacted
during my continuance in said office
during my continuance in said office
and until my successor is chosen and qualified.
and until my successor is chosen and qualified. Thank you.
Kids grab my phone.
All handwritten, but we'll have some.
Okay, can we have the roll call, please?
Okay. Mr. Hagan.
Here.
Ms. Humphries.
Here.
Ms. Krupko.
Here.
Mr. Ryan.
Here.
Mr. Swift.
Here.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the following agenda for the January 11th organizational meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Election of board president. The board president shall be nominated from the floor and be elected by a majority roll call. So for nomination of president,
Nominate Karen Humphries.
Second. Oh, go ahead, Jonathan.
any other nominations? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Okay. Oath of office.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Oops.
Okay, please repeat after me. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as President of the Board of Education of the Marlington Local School District, Stark County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is elected and qualified?
I do. Thank you.
Got the easy
That
one.
was hard.
He did say repeat after me.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I better look more carefully.
That's great. Okay. All right. Now we're going to the election of the board vice president. Is there a nomination of vice president?
Jonathan Swift.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Okay. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Oath of office. You can do it.
Got that, right?
That's memorized.
I won't make you repeat.
Go for it, Bob.
All right. Mr. Swift, do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as Vice President of the Board of Education of the Marlington Local School District, Stark County, Ohio, to the best of your ability, and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is elected and qualified?
I do. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. Okay. Is there a motion to establish the date, time, and place of the regular meetings of the Marlington Local Board of Education as the third Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. right here in the Digital Learning Zone at Marlington High School? Said Board of Education may set an alternate date or other locations as determined by the board at the conclusion of the meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is everybody good with continuing 6 p.m. third Thursday?
Call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Delegate to the OSBA, I recommend a motion to appoint Kathy Krupko to continue as a delegate to the Ohio School Boards Association Annual Conference. Is there a second?
Yes.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Is there a motion to appoint anyone as legislative liaison and alternate to the Ohio School Boards Association?
I nominate Mark Ryan.
Do you read?
That's fine.
Okay.
There'd be a
Nomination.
good reason.
Motion, is there a second for that?
To nominate you?
No,
Oh.
I have to fill in for you.
Oh, I promise I won't get sick or die or anything.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second?
Thank you. We've already had the discussion, so. Call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Representative selections. I recommend the motion to appoint the following representatives for the upcoming year for the different areas of work here in the district. Well, yes, formerly committees. Once I do this, we'll talk about why it's going to be representatives now. Okay, policy, Jonathan Swift. Curriculum, Karen Humphries. Finance, Mark Ryan. Building and Grounds, Josh Hagan. And extracurricular, Kathy Krupko. Okay, is there a motion for this?
So moved.
Second.
We had an ad hoc committee last year for, was it community outreach? You conducted some sort of meeting, or committee came in,
We did, but
said, you want to include that in this?
I think
We had
Dan's,
that along.
I think
we
Dan's
had a
doing a
different
bang-up job.
superintendent at that time.
Yeah, there was yeah.
There was a reason.
We felt like we needed
The
to-
board needed to drive community
Okay.
relations.
Is that one?
It's
Dan has
been-
been driving community relations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
That was
well,
the
so
very first
Okay.
summer, yeah.
Wow, that was that long ago.
Yeah.
It's been that long ago.
Okay.
So what's the difference now with the representative selection versus committees?
The committees, well, committees were driven, that whole setup is driven by the board. And just to streamline things more, what's been introduced really, and most districts follow, from what I understand, is the representative format, whereas that it's driven more because Dan is a CEO and he's doing things. So if he needs to talk to somebody, bounce something off of someone, he will talk to that person related to that particular area that they're covering. But anything that's obviously the board has to discuss or decide upon will be
Yeah.
in a work session. The bigger things, largely, building and grounds, usually in finance,
Yeah.
is going to be a work session. So that's kind of the format that most districts are at. Very few do the committee. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I like it. I actually, there was some legal seminars I went to that districts are switching to this, and when Karen brought it up, I don't think it's a bad idea, and I do call on certain people for different things that are more in, when we have those conversations. So because you have to have, it's what it is. Things happen, you make those quick phone calls and you say that, and then on top of it with a board rep or liaison, to me, I consider it very similar to what Kathy does every month with the OSBA report. So if it happens to be,
Let's to meet with Ed from Neola.
yes, but if it happens to be, let's say it's finances maybe twice a year or something to that nature when you're getting in the 5-year forecast, well, Mark may be added and he'll be on the agenda, just say, hey, this is a conversation I had with that. If buildings and grounds happens to be, we have a lot going on that month, and I'm bouncing different things off of Josh outside that we couldn't have a work session, Josh can speak on it too, because there's different things on that. I guess that's the rationale on it.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. That sound good?
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like
But
it.
typically, it's a work session. If there's something coming up that's big, we'd do a work session, especially when it comes to 5-year forecasts. No different than here in February or March, we're going to have to do a work session for summer projects, give you the whole packet, let the board make decisions based on what we have with our finances available, things like that. But there's still got to be, for me, it's a comfort factor to be able to, for certain things, just to be able to call up and say, hey, this is what's going on.
Quick interaction.
Honestly, with the way Dan has been running things and communicating with us, the committees have been pretty inactive anyway.
Right.
So I'm all in favor of this one.
Part of that's just with scheduling, and we ran into some things with that. And just, if it doesn't work out, that's fine. Bring it back the way, whatever. But that's,
Yeah.
Well, the bottom line, discussions had and decisions made are
all decisions
all
are
going to
be made
be
at the board meeting.
at the board meeting.
There's going to be no decisions made outside of that.
Right. Okay.
Sounds good?
Okay. And call the roll, please.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Bylaws and policy. The existing bylaws and policies for the operation of the Marlington Local Board of Education and local school district are hereby approved, and they're listed there. They are the normal things, nothing different than usual. Is that correct, Mr. Swisher?
Correct.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Treasurer's authority. The treasurer is authorized to pay bills within the limits of appropriations when merchandise has been received in good condition or when contractual obligations become due. And the rest of the recommendations there, authorized to secure advance of tax monies, the usual that have been, they're not changed either. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
Josh that seconded it?
I think-
Kathy? Thank you.
Call the roll,
Yeah,
please.
Mark. Kathy. Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Superintendent's authority. I recommend the motion to approve the following resolutions pertaining to the superintendent as presented. The superintendent and/or designee is authorized to act for the board on matters pertaining to surplus property, procurement, and federal grant applications and reports. And the rest of the same authorizations as in the past. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
And is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Thank you. We'll be back in 12 minutes for the regular meeting. Good evening and welcome to the Thursday, January 11th, 2024 Marlington Local School District Board of Education regular meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Invocation, Mr. Doug Beggs.
Let us pray. Lord God, we thank you for this space that you have given us for our children to come and to learn and to be educated. We thank you, Lord, for the teachers, the administrators, those who you have gathered and sent here. And now, Father, we pray for your presence in this meeting. We are thankful for the hedge of protection that has been over this school and over this community, and we pray, Lord, that you continue to let that hedge of protection be over this community. And now, Father, through this meeting, we pray for your presence, your guidance as decisions are made, and as those decisions are made, may they be according to your will. We thank you for all things, and give us all safety as we return to our homes. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bex.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Hagan?
Here.
Ms. Humphries?
Here.
Ms. Krupko?
Here.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes, here.
Mr. Swift?
Here.
Reading of the mission statement. In collaboration with staff, community, parents, and students, the Marlington Local School District will develop lifelong learners who understand and apply knowledge and demonstrate excellence in pursuing the highest standards with effective intervention to challenge every student. Additions or corrections? Are there any additions or corrections?
There is. If you're good, I'd like to add under personnel and classified sub-hire, Dale Gimroth, Gimroth, as a sub-bus driver.
Could you spell that again?
Dale, D-A-L-E, last name Gimroth, Gimroth.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt the following agenda for the January 11th meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
OSBA presentation.
There isn't a whole lot going on right now. Everybody should have received a letter of the things that we've participated in as a district and a welcome letter for our membership there. And that's about it. The only big news they had was the vetoes that Governor DeWine put in place and how that impacted the students. But other than that, it's been quiet. They took the time off for Christmas, I guess.
Wasn't there a vote already for a veto override on that too?
There wasn't anything in the OSBA information on that.
It just
Okay.
happened yesterday or today.
That'll probably
That's going
come
to
up
the
in next-
Senate?
It'll come up in the next,
Update.
yep.
Okay, curriculum update, Mrs. Renee Cayley.
While Renee's coming up, I'm just going to take a minute and tell you that January is School Board Appreciation Month. So I personally, with Bob, would like to express our heartfelt gratitude for your dedication, obviously your hard work that you give to Marlington, serving the school board. Your efforts are, I don't know what to say, greatly appreciated. You guys are there for calls, you're there for the students, you're there for the staff, you're there for the community. You wouldn't be doing this if your hearts wasn't in the right place. There's a reason why we celebrate the school boards. I think our students kind of had little gifts and various things that they spent time on.
Here, you can hold it.
Some of our GTT at the middle school, our Gateway Technology, some of those middle school students, I think, kind of put together the coasters and the
Thank you, Carter.
Dukes things, so thank them. I think some of our STEAM or STEM clubs at the elementaries put together some things, and then our students at the high school, middle school also had caricatures and other items out there, so it's,
Do you hold up your T-shirt?
it's always interesting to see what the students come up with, you know, because we kind
There
of
you
just
go.
put it out there. You know, the administrators put it out to the staff and the students to come up with something for the, unique for the board for this month too. Thank you.
Mark, show your picture.
Yeah, Mark, show your picture. Love
I
that.
love it.
We all caricatures. These are awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
So,
students and
you guys give an invaluable service, so I just want to say thank you to, especially all school board members out there, but specifically this board. It's been a really good year. Look forward to this coming year also. So thank you guys.
Just so everybody knows.
Oh, we got a video. There you go.
We actually, I use these. They're on my desk and things.
Mrs. Humphries.
Silas.
That was awesome.
These don't get, these get used.
That's
My-
good.
My little nameplates
yeah.
are on my desk and cups
I got
and
them
cup holders.
all hanging up around the office.
Yep, so thank you.
Good reminder.
I have mine in my car, so it reminds me that I am Mr. Swift.
Yeah. You forget that all.
He doesn't forget his name then. It's awesome.
Flip it up.
The officer pulls you over. I'm Mr.
Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Kaylee.
I don't know how I can follow that video, but I'm going to try my best. Good evening. Thank you for having me here this evening. I am going to give a brief curriculum report. I haven't given one in a couple of months, so I promise, Mr. Swift, I will not be too long. We're going to talk about the One Needs Assessment and the One Plan, as well as Reaching All Students Grant Update. Just kind of keeping you abreast of some of the things that are coming down the pike for us. First of all, we are going to be conducting our One Needs Assessment. We are in year 3 currently of our One Plan, which means we now need to conduct a new One Needs Assessment in order to create our new 3-year plan. Just to give you a little background knowledge on what the One Needs Assessment is it pulls data from a variety of department systems to create a needs analysis for our district and all districts, but it will pull Marlington specific data in order to create recommended required questions for us based upon that data that it pulls. From there, that helps us to determine what our priority needs are of the district, and then these help us structure our goals, strategies, and action steps in our One Plan. And so we did this process, like I said, 3 years ago, and we created the One Plan from that work. We're going to do the same process with the One Needs Assessment so that we can once again create a One Plan, which will then tie into Mr. Swisher's strategic plan that we'll have for the end of the year. That'll be a part of it. It's going to align nicely with that. And so when we're looking at the timeline for the One Needs Assessment and the One Plan timeline, at the end of this month, I'm going to be sending out a community and staff survey sent via Parent Square for some stakeholder input. That is new. That wasn't a mandate prior to this year, but or this cycle of the One Needs Assessment, but it's best practice. We want to get some feedback. There will be specific questions that are tailored to the questions from the One Needs Assessment. That'll get sent out. On the 29th, we have a PD day. Our buildings are going to work in individual buildings to answer the questions. So it's really important to me that every single staff member has a voice in this process. I think that's how we got so much buy-in with this current One Plan, because it's their plan. It's not my plan. It's our district's plan from the teachers on up to central office. In February, our district leader team will then cause a root cause analysis. So from all of the answers to the questions that we gather from the January 29th meeting, our DLT will then, what a root cause analysis is where we're going to try to figure out why. Why do we have those particular answers? So for example, one of the things that was talked about last time was the need for consistency in our 3 elementary buildings in regards to curriculum resources. So I'm pleased to say over the past 3 years, we've implemented Hagerty and Foundations. We've had adult implementation walkthroughs to ensure fidelity of the programs. So that's one of the things that came out of the work that we did with the One Plan and the voices from our elementary staff. Then what we'll do in February and March, our DLT will determine our goals for our One Plan and our action steps. And then our buildings will create plans for themselves as well. They'll reflect directly from what our district plan is. But it will just be building specific. In March, we'll finalize our One Plan. We'll post it on our website for public comment. That once again is a new requirement that wasn't required last time around. In April, you guys will get to hear from me. I'll present it to you, what our One Plan is, to get feedback from you as well. And then April 30th, it's due to the Ohio Department of Education Workforce. So we are going to be very busy over the next several months because not only will we be doing this, but we'll be continuing in year 3 of our plan. So we still have goals and action steps to complete before the end of this school year. So our district leadership team knows that. They're ready for the task and the challenge and excited to continue the work and see what we can kind of, I don't want to say check off our list, but kind of cross off because we've accomplished that and be able to move forward. Any questions with the One Plan and the One Needs Assessment? Just a little side note, all of our federal funding is tied to it. So we have, what they say is you fund your plan. So every single strategy and action step is linked to some sort of funding source. And so if we don't have it in our plan, guess what? We're not getting the money. So we need to make sure that we have gifted in there, that we have stuff about special education in there. We want to make sure that we're all encompassing so that we can get all of the funds that are available to us. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. So the next thing is, you know that we did receive the Reaching All Students grant at the beginning of last year. We have been incredibly busy with that grant. We do monthly meetings that are statewide meetings with other grant recipients. It is ongoing professional learning during those times. We have a grant team that's representative of all 3 of our elementary buildings that we meet monthly. We meet after school. We do a lot of work and conversations around literacy. Just so that you know, last year we had it on our docket to do a curriculum adoption committee and adopt a core curriculum in ELA for K-5. However, the Ohio Department of Education highly recommended that we paused on that because we are awaiting the state's list of approved core curriculum. So that is the initial list is supposed to come out this month. And basically what it's saying is that at some point in 24-25, all public schools in the state of Ohio have to implement a core curriculum from the approved list. So even though we have been ready to move, we've had to be in kind of a holding pattern because we can't, I can't spend money on something that may not be approved, right? So we're waiting for that. We're hopeful that it's going to come out this month because then our work of the curriculum adoption process with the committee will start. And so we're waiting to move forward with that. It's hard though, I will tell you, because our staff, our team, we're ready to move. We know that we have a gap. We're not seeing all of the student scores that we think we can see. We're seeing growth, but don't get me wrong, we're seeing growth, but we're not seeing as much as we could if we had that consistent core curriculum outside of our foundational pieces with Hagerty and Foundations. Okay. And then our dyslexia training, I know we talked about this earlier in the year and last year as well. Our grades 2 and 3 teachers are currently being trained, as well as our intervention specialists that service those grade levels and our title staff. And then we also have some K-5 staff members that are participating in Wilson training. Next year, it'll be 4 through 12 intervention specialists by law that have to be trained. The other piece is you guys have to be trained. So I will be sharing, well, I have to present to you about the science of reading. So I will be doing that at some point before the end of the year as well, just to kind of make, I'll quiz you afterwards too. We'll do an exit flip. But
Do we get grade?
you will, absolutely, absolutely.
You grade on a curve?
Grade on a curve.
If you're nice, if you're nice. So so just know that, that's coming also for you. And then we do have, the state is mandating K-12 training in the science of reading. And so that's something I'll be talking to our district administrative team next week at our admin meeting on what's the plan going to be moving forward for that. So thinking about anybody in 6 through 12 who teaches will be going through this science of reading training. So thinking of our science and our social studies and our mathematics teachers, getting buy-in from them, and how can we do that? So outside of that, I mean, we've been busy with writing grants, and I know Mr. Swisher shared last month about how we wrote for a career tech grant that would be transitioning our current IT program into a coding and software programming pathway. Excited about that, and we are going to be implementing Sources of Strength as one of our suicide prevention curriculum, which is part of the requirements of us by the state, and we just wrote for a $5,000 grant for that. So we are busy writing grants to see how we can supplement some of our funding, and the teachers are hard at work, and I will tell you that we keep, the growth that I've seen from, this is year 3 in this position, just the growth that I've seen in our building administrators and our teachers has been incredible. The conversations, and Mr. Swisher I think can attest to it, the conversations around the table have shifted, and they're a lot more focused on, I don't want to say student achievement, but how can we provide what's best for kids all around. So I'm excited about those conversations and the continued opportunities. You guys have any questions for me?
I do. You're building leadership teams.
Yes.
Do those stay the same every year, or do different teachers rotate in?
Good question. So when in regards to our district leadership team, at the end of each year, I do a survey for the team and say, do you want to still be on the team, knowing that it's a time commitment. You're out of your classroom, you're out of your position. A, do you still want to be on it? And then B, if you still want to be on it, do you still like the goal group? Because we have 3 different goal groups. But then do you still want to be in the same goal group? And if so, we keep them in there. If not, we transition. The BLT is similar. They also survey and see.
Okay.
Is this something that, because it's very important to have continuity, because we want to have folks that have been in there. If there was
Yeah.
constant change, we wouldn't have that rooted, the background and where we've started. So yes, there is sometimes transition, because I did have somebody say, you know what, I love the experience, I've learned a lot, but I feel like at this point where I'm at in my life, I need to pause for a minute and focus on my classroom. Totally respect that. So that would then mean that building would need to replace that person on the building leadership team.
But for the most part, you've
They
seen
do.
a lot of stability.
Yeah,
in
oh,
the
absolutely.
groups. Okay.
Absolutely, yep. Good question. What's really neat is being able to see then, we're actually going to do an activity, cover the mic, no, we're going to do an activity at our this month where we reflect on the past 3 years. And they're going to have to create a song, think of a song title that reflects our journey over the past 3 years. It's going to be really interesting.
How many are on the building leadership teams?
They vary by building. I will tell you, like Marlboroughs and Washingtons aren't quite as large as Lexington, the middle school or the high school, because of just the number of staff members. So we want to make sure that
5 or 6?
Oh, no, I would say probably 10 at Marlborough, because you want to make sure you have various grade levels represented. You want to make sure you have intervention specialists represented. Sometimes you'll have our instructional coach might be in there. You might have your speech and language pathologist in there, your school psychologist. It just varies. School counselors. So it just varies in each building. We have like 24, I think, on our district leadership team. And in order to be on the district team, you have to be a member of your BLT. So we pick people from the BLT to be on the D. My husband always says, "Are we eating bacon, lettuce, and tomato?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "That's old. That's old." So yeah, it's different.
Mark, our DLT, she's done phenomenal. It's state the state has recognized our DLT. We have multiple schools that typically now come and watch our DLT, and then they bring it back and try to mimic or change. The various superintendents and curriculum directors that come in and they sit in the back and kind of watch how things operate with our team. So it's the buy-in is really there.
Excellent.
Renee's done a good job spearheading that with the support of the SST9, and then obviously having our admin team being there is really helpful because it shows the teachers their buy-in. No excuses. You're there. You know, I mean, it's a blocked off spot that no one messes with.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, we've been blessed with having, we just had, for example, Minerva came, and we're actually in, what is that, SST9's monthly update. I'll have to share the picture with you all, but Dan and I'm in there with antlers on because it was December's thing and we were supposed to dress up. But I think it's so important that not only as a county, but as a region, and we actually have people across the state coming to see us as well, just to see the work that we're doing. And I tell the team all the time, we're learning and growing together. We're not perfect. And I tell those that come to watch us or to learn from us, like we learn from you as well. So if there's some type of feedback you can give us, suggestions, we are all ears and all open for that. But there's no need to reinvent the wheel if something's working somewhere, please feel free to replicate it. So, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Public participation, did anyone sign up to speak? Executive session. I recommend the motion for the Marlington Local School District Board of Education to recess into executive session pursuant to Revised Code 121.22G1 to consider the employment or valuation of a public employee. All matters discussed in this executive session are designated to the public officials and employees as confidential pursuant to Revised Code 102.03B because of the status of the proceedings and/or the circumstances under which the information will be received, and preserving its confidentiality is necessary to the proper conduct of government business. Action may be taken. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan? Yes. Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Time in is 6:22. All right, we are out of executive session at 7:14 PM. New business. I'd like to recommend the motion to approve an amendment to the years 2023 through 24 and 24 and 25 of Mr. Swisher's current contract and approve a new 5-year contract effective August 25th through July 2030.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please. Oh, sorry.
Can we state any of the information of the contract?
Its base salary is, I don't know. What's that?
Is there a reason to? It's going to be requested
Yeah,
anyway.
it's going to be, it's public record anyway, so.
By 6 a.m. you'll have a request.
It has to be signed first, too, so, and accepted. So let's vote. Call the roll, please.
Okay, Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'm gonna go ahead and jump in on this one. I appreciate the opportunity to continue to serve, so I thank the board.
Thank you.
Contract and vote. So I will continue to serve well. Please keep me informed of what I can do. I'm going to recommend the motion to approve the high school program of study shown in Exhibit A. It says AB, but AB would be the changes, B is the changes. Now, I did send this to the board prior to going on Christmas break.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Recommend the motion to approve the following out-of-state field trip as shown in Exhibit C.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
It's just an out-of-state field trip possibility, as always, with the invite. We're trying to do things in advance. So this would be for the indoor national track meet in March for track. Nike East Indoor National Track.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Okay, we do have some old business. I did like to recommend the motion to approve the following calendar for the 2024-2025 school year as shown in Exhibit D.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
We've had the calendar there. I shared it with the unions. If you take a look at it, we still have our PD days prior, starting in August. So we have our 4 PD days in August. We'll start school on September the 3rd. We will then obviously have our Thanksgiving break. Typically it's the same, the Wednesday through Monday. We do have off there on Christmas. We were limited not to be able to really do a full week of spring break like we have in the past. Easter's late this year in April, so we're able to do, the staff calls it a spring breeze, is what they call it. And then we're still going to be able to get out on the last day of school for students will be June 4th. The last day will be for staff will be June 5th. So we still are starting after Labor Day and continuing to get out at least in that first week of June.
Great. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Treasurer's agenda, Mr. Fox.
Okay, I would like to recommend that the board approve the minutes from the December 14th regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
I'd also like to recommend for the next item that the board approve the financial reports for the month of December 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Anything we need to know?
No, just a couple quick updates with regard to purchases. Couple things that had to be paid in December that were a little more unusual. We paid for a new combi oven for the cafeteria, $24,000, $24,245. It's an expensive item, but needed replaced.
What kind of oven is it?
A combi oven. Guess it does things like steam and keep food warm and cook them or something.
Oh, okay.
I think so. Very useful device, but expensive, and the repairs kept coming from our
I'm sorry.
own.
Oh.
I'm gonna get the door. Got it.
We also had a pump fail at the high school water treatment plant that was paid for in December. That cost $4,605.59. Coming next month, this happened during this month here, the water softener at Washington is going to be replaced here. It's leaking. That's going to cost $6,520 and change. So a few things are needing some maintenance here. Also, just today, this was really a follow-up from last board meeting where I mentioned our PI needs. Accepted the proposals today to resurface the tennis courts. Contacted the vendors for that, as well as for the removal of the fuel storage tanks. Tennis courts, that's going to be about $37,000 to remove the underground fuel storage tanks. $47,645. I mentioned in both these projects will probably be taking place between now and March. The hope is that the tennis courts will be ready to go for the first match.
Great. Okay, you want to call the roll?
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Next, I'd like to recommend a motion to approve the revenue and budget revisions as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Bob, what's the highlighted amounts in there?
What's the
The
highlight?
revisions?
These are really all for grant items. This is the time of year where we're getting our carryover release from the previous year, and we have new allocations available for the grants. So these are to add budget or adjust the budgets to be more in line with what we're given and what's necessary for the grants. These are all federal grant monies.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Next, I would like to recommend a motion to approve the alternative tax budget as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
No, just a quick note about what this is. This is really an estimate of what we have coming in from our various tax sources and revenue sources. In short, it's a request to the Budget Commission of how much money we expect we're going to need to use. So we have to show how much we have, how much we're expecting, and we request this budget from the Budget Commission. So page, not the first page, the second page that shows a table there, it says Division of Taxes Levy. Nice little reference because it shows each of our levies and how much we're expecting to bring in for each of those. I have two, just reminded me, I have something for you related. The information for that really comes from two sources primarily. One is our 5-year forecast. The other is a sheet that comes from the county auditor that's referred to as the green sheet, but it basically shows our valuations, our millage, each levy, and how much it brings in. And I have a copy just for each of you, just for reference, really. It's good if people have questions.
Sorry.
But after receiving this alternative tax budget information, we will get an official certificate of official certificate of resources from the county auditor, and that establishes how much we're authorized to appropriate.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Okay. Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Ms. Krupko,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Mr. Swift.
Yes.
The final item on the treasurer's agenda is to recommend that we approve the donation for the month, which is $1,500 from the 467 Foundation. And this, my understanding, this was provided to the lunchroom to pay for money against student accounts who don't have the money to pay for those themselves.
Awesome. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
This is they now live in Lake. It's a Marlington family pageants. They kind of run. They started this foundation called the 467 Foundation. They've worked with Lexington for years. Since they moved, she said she tried to reach out before, hasn't really heard back, so she took a year off, reached out to me, and then said that she came in and gave a check, and she wanted a kind of a total of unpaid lunch accounts, district-wide, which is roughly around that amount. And the foundation would be happy to pick that up right around Christmas time. Took care of that for the family.
That was so great.
Very nice.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Mr. Swift.
Yes.
Personnel?
Okay, we're on personnel. Really short list here, so I'm just going to consent it, if that's okay with the board. I'll still read through it. So we have supplementals again, just keeping up with it. We have just some track math team coaches and head bowling coach. Then we have some preferred subs. We have 2 more preferred subs added to our list, which helps if we have teachers out. We have some classified subs. So if we have any of our classified, they're out. And then we have 2 FMLA leave requests for 2 staff members for babies.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
Dan,
Yeah.
is this FMLA leave request something new? Because to me, it seems like we're getting a lot of these recently, and I don't recall.
So FMLA, so typically I would say in general, you can use FMLA anytime you're out for more than 2 weeks, okay? But FMLA can only be used once a year. So for in school districts, most of the time FMLA is used either for a major surgery that would require you to leave or pregnancy. I mean, having a birth of a child, if you decide. So those run through the treasurer's office. We do feel they need to be board approved. We just having a lot of babies this year.
That can also be used, can it still be used for if a family member is sick?
Correct.
And you need to help take care of?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that varies. It doesn't happen very often on our end, but most of the ones that Josh is talking about that you've seen come across every month where we're getting a few, most of those FMLA requests are for birth of a child.
Okay.
And the staff members do come in, they meet with Bob, they kind of review what the FMLA law is, their obligations, and what that means and so forth, and then we require the documentation be turned into our district, so we have that from the auditor standpoint. This keeps it cleaner.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Announcements. Again, our website's probably the best place to get what's going on, but we do have, this Monday's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We don't have school. January 15th. The end of our second 9 weeks is now. We're at January 19th, so the end of the second 9 weeks is here. We're halfway through the year. It's flying. We do have our staff PD day on January 29th, so we don't have school there. The staff will be in, the kids will be off. Parent-teacher conferences are February 1st. The National Honor Society's Rigatoni Dinner's coming up on February 2nd, and we'll also have our winter sports dance on February 2nd. And then obviously we have a plethora of athletic events moving through here in the winter right now.
So our next Board of Education meeting, if it's the third Thursday of the month, would be February 15th.
That would be correct.
Okay.
What is it?
February
February 15th.
6 p.m.
Yes, that would be the third. So February 15th, 6 p.m.
I'll be out of town. It's not we don't have to change the meeting, but I won't be at that meeting if there's anything critical. No?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Krupko?
Yes?
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Ms. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Thank you.